welcome back to my channel. This is a channel where I share everything about my Graves' disease and how I'm learning to thrive with it. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well so you never miss any new episodes. Now, a quick disclaimer before we get started, I am not a health professional, so everything that I say should be taken with a grain of salt. This is just my own personal journey, my own experiences. So in today's video, I am sharing all the things that have helped my Graves' disease. Now, I was diagnosed about 8 or so years ago now, so it's been a long time. I've learned a lot in the process. I've tried a lot of different things. So I just wanted to share every little thing that has helped me along my journey. So I just want to really put out there as well, it is a combination of all these things that have helped. I do not believe that there is one thing that you can do that can help, or that there's no like cure, there's no one thing fits every single person or one thing can help you. Like, everybody is completely different, and for me personally, there are all these little tiny things that I've changed over the past few years that have really helped. All these things that I do now, that's been stuff that I've been implementing over the past few years. It's not something that I've done straight away. I haven't just all of a sudden had all these healthy habits into my life straight away. It's been slow changes over years, and really, when you are starting out, just start picking the things that make more sense to you, the things that maybe make you feel the best, and start with that. Start small. And I do strongly believe that living with an autoimmune condition, chronic illness, or whatever it is that you're going through with your life, it is a big combination of physical and mental health as well. Mental health and taking care of this little guy has been a massive, it's changed everything for me, and I never fully realized how important the mental side of it was until a few years ago, and it's been a massive game changer as well. So everyone is obviously completely different. There's going to be some stuff that I'll talk about and you'll be like, oh, that doesn't help me, and that's totally cool. This is just stuff that has helped me, and yeah, like, do what serves you best. Do what makes you feel good, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. Alright, so let's start with my diet. I am not a dietitian. I'm not going to go into what I eat in a day and all that kind of stuff, but the 3 things that I've eliminated from my diet that have made a massive difference are gluten, dairy, and also soy. So gluten there's so much research out there linked to getting rid of gluten from your diet and helping autoimmune conditions. There's a lot out there. I'm not going to go into it all, but definitely for me, cutting that out has made a massive impact on how I feel. Gluten also used to make me feel really bloated as well, and it wasn't serving me, so I just cut it out. Dairy as well, I cut that one out. It's made a massive change to how I feel as well, and it's been hard. Dairy has been the hardest one. I would have to say that cheese is probably my favorite food ever. So, and like, cutting out gluten and dairy has just been absolutely horrible for me, because I love cheese, I love pasta. Like, my favorite food ever would have to be Italian, which is primarily cheese and pasta. So yeah, I have struggled with that a lot, but cutting it out has made me feel a lot better. When I do have a bit of a binge, maybe when I go on holidays, I might have something that I'm not meant to have, and I can feel the effects afterwards. I get really sore and itchy eyes again. That's probably the worst thing. And yeah, I just feel off. I don't feel myself, so I can tolerate it in small amounts, but I just mostly choose to just completely cut it out. And yeah, that really makes me feel good. And also soy as well. I went through a stage a few years ago where I think it was like 2 years, I was vegetarian, and I started incorporating a little bit of soy into my diet, but it didn't make me feel very good, so I've had to completely cut that one out as well. So my diet is just primarily wholesome, unprocessed, as real as possible. I try to eat a really balanced diet. Not gonna go into details of what it is, but I just try and live as unprocessed, as healthy as I possibly can, and that is when I feel my best and my symptoms are at their absolute lowest, when I follow a healthy diet. 2 other things that I've cut out. Number 1 is alcohol. I actually haven't had a drink of alcohol in close to 3 years now. Back when I was first diagnosed, and for those first few years, I loved partying. I loved having drinks with friends, and I couldn't see myself cutting it out, but it continued. I felt absolutely awful the next day. I mean, most people get hangovers, but mine, I couldn't go to sleep at night because I was so anxious, like the night that I'd got home from the party, and also the next day as well. I just felt so extremely anxious. I had like an anxious hangover, and it just got to the stage where it was way too much. It was just making my anxiety symptoms a lot worse, so I just decided one day I was going to cut it out. I didn't like the way that it was making me feel, and I just haven't felt the need to go back and have another drink, because not having those drinks just makes me feel a whole lot better, so I just choose not to have alcohol. The second drink that I don't have is coffee. I don't really have any caffeine at all. Before I was diagnosed, I used to drink a bit of coffee because I just started uni, and one day I had too much. It tipped me over the edge. I had a full-blown panic attack. I was laying on my bed and the room was spinning. It was probably one of the most intense experiences ever. And pretty much after that, I was like, no, I need to cut down. And then I was having maybe like 1 coffee a day, but it was still making me really anxious, and I just decided to cut it out. So I haven't had coffee in probably like 6 years now. Other things that have really helped is seeing a naturopath. I regularly visit naturopaths over the last few years, and the one that I have now, I regularly see her, and we are just constantly working on improving myself, and the more that I see her, the better I feel, so I'm just going to continue to do that. I know that a lot of people don't want to see alternative medicine practitioners. They are expensive, but really it is an investment in your health, and I think without going to see these practitioners, I would definitely not be feeling what I feel like now. And at the end of the day, my health is my number 1 priority, and if I'm not feeling good, what is the point of everything that I'm doing? Like, I want to be feeling good so I can be enjoying my life as best as possible. So seeing a naturopath, spending that money on my health is 100% worth it in my eyes. Another thing that I do and allow myself to do is taking time out when I need it. I used to be terrible, absolutely terrible at this. I would never take time out, and I'd just be constantly tired. Every time that I pushed myself, every day would just be more of a struggle, until I dug myself in this really deep hole, and I was so stressed out, and yeah, it was horrible. And I felt so much guilt if I took time off, because I felt like, oh, I'm in my mid-20s, I just need to keep hustling and pushing to be successful in my life. And that is not the case, because the more that you hustle, the more stressed that you are, you're not going to be feeling very good. So I just really need to be okay with taking that time out, not feeling guilty about it, really enjoying that time. And then once I've had that time to recharge, getting back to working on my projects, my business, whatever it is that needs doing, because I'm feeling awesome because I've just had this time out. Another thing as well, and I know this is so hard, like it has literally taken me years of practice and I still struggle with it sometimes, but I guess just living as stress-free as possible, not taking on too much in my life, saying no when I don't have the energy to do things. I really struggle with that one. And not working more hours and kind of pushing myself, like being okay with going at a slower pace, if that makes sense. Like, I have big goals and I have big dreams and all that kind of stuff, but taking it, still reaching them and still setting those goals, but doing it at a slower pace and being okay with that. And when I feel the stress kick in, being okay with taking a little bit of time to reset, realize that, hey, maybe I'm doing too much. I need to kind of pull it back, take a bit of a break. And if I do that before I kind of hit this threshold where I've gone too far, I'm all good and I might only need like a day off, and then the next day I'm fine to go. So just really finding that balance and changing up my life to be in an optimal, stress-free environment. And I know this is so hard. It just takes practice and learning to balance everything, because I know that your diet is so important and I know all these things are really important, but I do genuinely feel like lowering my stress levels, it is the main thing that I need to be doing, because every single time I went through another relapse, it was because it was a stressful period in my life. Stress and autoimmune conditions do just not work, and it's not worth it because you are going to feel so much worse in the long run. Another little lifestyle change that I've had is just getting outside more. I wasn't real, like I loved getting outside previously, but I just didn't find the time to do it. Now I prioritize time outdoors and I get outside every single day. I go down to the beach, I take my dog for a walk, I go for a swim, all that kind of stuff, and that really fills my cup. Even if it's just for an hour a day, I feel so much better. I feel grounded, I feel calm. If I'm inside all day, it really affects my mood, and I feel a lot happier when I go outside. If I'm feeling happier, that's going to have a big effect on my stress levels. I'm going to be more motivated to eat better, and all that kind of stuff. It's all just a big cycle. So if you're doing one thing, that's gonna flow into the next thing, flow into the next thing, and all that kind of stuff. Now, let's move on to the mindset stuff, because this has been the stuff that I've only really been incorporating the last 2 or 3 years. Early in my diagnosis, it was very much victim mentality. Why is this happening to me? And I mean, yes, it sucks. It does, it sucks. Like, it sucks that if you have an autoimmune condition, that you have that. Like, of course it would be better to not have it, but you have it and there's nothing you can do about it. So you've got 2 choices. You can either dwell on it and continue to feel worse and worse and worse, or you can accept it and see it as a positive and just, yeah, like be okay with it, learn to live with it, learn to embrace it, and figure out ways that are gonna make you feel better, because you really just do have those 2 choices. So I'm gonna pick this choice all the time because I wanna feel my best and I don't want my autoimmune condition to be controlling me. So firstly, daily gratitude has just made a massive change for everything. I no longer see my graves as okay, it's still annoying, like obviously it's still hard and annoying, but I don't see it as like a why is this happening to me anymore and like this sucks. It's just, it is what it is, and it's taught me a lot about myself. It's making me live a different life. It's brought so much good into my life that I kind of got to the stage where I just feel grateful for it. And I know that sounds really, really strange, and it might take you a really long time to get there. It took me about 8 years to get to this stage, but I finally feel at a place of acceptance and gratitude with my graves. And also meditation and yoga have helped me zen out, relax, feel less stressed, yeah, all that kind of good stuff. I've been practicing meditation regularly for the last couple of years, and it's just really helped calm my mind. It's helped a lot with my anxiety, and also yoga as well. Like, I just feel so zen when I do yoga. I started practicing yoga probably like 3 or so years ago now. I just needed, everything was kind of getting too much for me, and I just realized that I needed like chill out. I have also seen a psychologist when I was in my times where I was feeling super, super anxious, which was really helpful. I've also seen a hypnotherapist as well for help with my anxiety. And there's definitely no shame in asking for help with your mental health. I'm a massive advocate for mental health because I think it's so important. It's just, if not even more important than your physical health, and it should definitely be talked about more. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit of a snapshot into the things that I have changed. And like I said at the start of this video, it's all been very gradual. I didn't just all of a sudden jam all it onto my plate in a single day and expect me to get everything. Start with a couple of things that make you feel good. See how they feel. If they continue to make you feel better, continue to do them. And then after a couple of weeks, maybe start incorporating something else, because it is all these little things can make a massive difference to how you feel. And I feel so different now than what I did when I was first diagnosed, because I was an absolute mess. I was really, really struggling, and I kind of felt like I didn't know how I was ever going to cope. But now I'm kind of at this stage where if I'm working with my body, if I'm doing things that make me feel good, I'm actually able to feel good. You know, like I don't really have that many symptoms. And when I do, I don't have them all the time. It is possible to live like this, and I'm not saying it is for everyone. This is just my own journey and how I feel, but I do strongly believe that you can make a massive difference to how you feel by just listening to what your body needs and incorporating these changes into your lifestyle, because it really can make a massive difference. I think it's really important that if you are living with Graves' disease or another autoimmune condition, that you just really prioritize that slower living, living a as stress-free as you possibly can life. Taking it slow. You don't have to be doing a million miles a minute like everyone else is. Like, be okay with living a slower life, because once I incorporated just this slower living into my life, it's just made a massive difference with how I feel every single day. And that's okay, because I'm just listening to what my body needs, and I feel so much better. Well, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please just pop them below in the comment section. And let me know if you'd like me to kind of dive in a little bit deeper with these sort of topics. If you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe, and also give this video a thumbs up if you liked the content. That's really going to support my channel. But I'm going to love you and leave you, and I will see you next week. See ya.